Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
Before you get it, baby, show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. You walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
I'm so happy. Yes, I am. I'm so happy. I'm so happy it don't make no sense. I'm serious, y'all. I ain't playing. If I could speak in tongues, I'd say Hasa Babaka. I'm just so happy today. I am to the core, from the rooter to the tutor. And you know why? I just am. You know what? For real, I didn't even know that was a thing where you could be so happy and don't even have to have any one particular reason. Man. That's a babaka. I better quit playing with that speaking in tongues stuff. So you know, they don't play that. You know? So, welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. My ADHD is on point today, y'all. Superpower time. And I'm excited because we have a great guest for you, as always. But today, just a little extra special. I'm just going to say that. Now, first of all, I'm going to say this. She thought she could fight it. I saw her. back in the green room trying to meditate, and that theme song pulled her out of it. She tried to fight it. I'm gonna stay in my meditation, but that Show Me Your Soul got in there and said, come on in here. Yay! So God is good all the time, y'all. Listen, that's the bell of purpose, and I ring it. You better believe it, on purpose. Why? Because the truth, just like that bell, well, it has a ring to it. We can get so busy sometimes, all caught up in all kinds of different things, that the truth, we just run on past it, right through the stoplight. I'm going to ring the bell to remind you. So that's not a prop. It's not a gimmick. It's an opportunity. Don't miss it. Your chance to take some truth with you. Truth is all there is. It's the only thing that'll never change on you, and that will never change, period. Bell of purpose. And also, second thing, sorry, you should have been first. I understand it's in her contract. My sidekick, my version of Ed McMahon, Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo, been here all 8 years. So, Power We Symposium. Went to the venue yesterday. And for, you know what? Seriously, we're upping our game, 750 kids this time. And so that's like, I don't know, $80,000, $90,000 more. So, but I thought I was going to pass out when she pushed the contract across the table. Nope. I was like, Thank you, Aaliyah. Age ain't the only thing that ain't nothing but a number. I'm telling you, when you are working within purpose, it's amazing when you really surrender. You know what? That's why purpose, surrender, all those things, I think they should be inside the definition of falling in love. Let that sit out there for a second. What do I mean by that? Falling in love. A lot of us think it's all romantic, especially just went through February 14th. Well, yeah, it's that. But falling in love means also when you are living within your purpose. If you trip or you fall, you take a big bite of the apple, you stretch all the things we're encouraged to do, even if you stumble a little. There are no mistakes. That's the universe. That's source keeping our shit interesting. Ain't nothing else but that going on. Just fall into the arms of what you're working with, what you're co-creating with, co-mingle everything you're doing with what they're doing. Y'all remember back in the day, they used to have that commercial for Reese's peanut butter cups, and the cartoon characters would run into each other and go try to have an attitude. You done got your peanut butter on my chocolate. You got your chocolate in my peanut butter. Then they both take a little bite and magic. Same thing here. Okay, so there it is. That's my little monologue for today. Now, you remember, or maybe not, but I'm going to tell you, a few months ago, I had the distinct honor of going all the way to Boston, Massachusetts, and spent 4 days learning TM, Transcendental Meditation, not just from any old body, but at the home of Sanjeev Chopra, Deepak Chopra's brother, and his wife. Thank you so much, Mrs. Chopra. It was life-changing. It still is. Meditating twice a day, in the morning and mid-afternoon, and I can't even explain it, because I just love it. It has brought me so much peace and brought me to places where I can find peace, just like that. So we're going to talk about that today with our guest. I'm deciding I'm going to do just this. NURIA. You got to hit it just right. You got to swoop underneath that U. NURIA is a certified meditation teacher. And a certified identity-based life coach. Never heard of that. We're going to talk about that. A YTT, that's some accreditation, I'm assuming, yoga instructor, and a Reiki healer. She's offering healing and transformation services through her wellness business, which I love the name, Dragonfly Cultivated Healing. I love Dragonflies. She's going to tell you about dragonflies too today. I bet you anything she does. So anyway, she's a first timer. So here's what we do to say virtually, welcome, welcome, welcome. Put some hearts on the screen because she's coming in. I hear her walking down the hall right now. Come on. Hello.
Hello,
What are you doing, the little
hello.
circle thing?
A round of applause.
Round of applause. Well, I believe in circles too.
Yes, they never
They're-
end. They have infinity sides.
Yes. How are you this morning?
I am doing amazing. I am being amazing. Just like super duper excited to be here with you today, Dr.
I know.
Lauren Michaels Harris.
Thank you. I know. Isn't that a great name?
It is.
Listen,
I say it sometimes to myself.
let me just say this. If they ever have a revival of the color purple in your town, like community theater, and they have that role, well, the role will be in there because it's in the show, of Squeak. Remember the one who said to Oprah?
Oh, yeah.
Radon Chong played it in the original. Remember that? And she's
Yeah.
a friend of mine, actually.
Oh,
Kind of,
really?
sort of. Her mother is really a good friend of mine. Hi, Maxine Chong. Love your face and miss it, too. Yeah, you could be that role. You ain't nothing but a big old fat, ugly heifer. Remember that? And then Oprah knocked her ass in the water.
You, she had nerve, okay? You don't play with Sophia.
Don't.
Sophia. Why? First of all, Color Purple is actually my favorite book of all time. I've read it more than 2 times.
Same
Also,
here.
Alice Walker is a Spelman grad, and I went to Spelman, so cheer, cheer, cheer. I've
I
read
didn't know that,
all of her
she was
books.
a Spelman grad.
Yes. Well, I don't know if did she graduate? I think she did. Don't let me be wrong.
Well,
I'll
even
have
if
to go
she
look
did,
it up.
I don't care. She just walked across the parking lot.
Yes. And I also love the movie. So it's very rare to love the movie and the book. For
Okay,
me.
the movie.
Either
Loved
it's the
that
book or
too,
the
of
movie.
course. Whoopi, all the originals. But
Yes.
let me ask you, because we just saw it. Did you see the musical?
Okay, I don't want to talk about that because I don't want to lose my black card. And Alice Walker, maybe she didn't go to Spelman. I think she went to Emory, and I just made her a Spelmanite because she went to Emory. So you can
you were
take
just
that
Googling
away.
it, huh?
I did.
Now, wait a minute.
Did. I don't like giving misinformation.
What's this about losing your black card? You didn't like the musical?
I haven't seen it yet, and I feel like this being my favorite movie and book, I technically should have seen this already, and I haven't. So
It was
I haven't seen it
different for me. I loved all the people that played the roles. But you know how here's what bothered me. Every time I looked at, I was like, that is not Celie. That's Fantasia. That is not Miss Sophia. That's that girl from Orange is the New Black. That I refused to lay their cutout paper dolls. Remember paper dolls? On top of the original.
You needed to pretend that you had never seen the original. That's what you needed to do.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. The music was good though. I'll give them that. For a musical, because sometimes they be having some songs. I'm like, who in the world thought we was gonna like that song? No, they had. I'm telling you, it was really good. And her was really good in it.
My kids were super excited about that. They're like, "What? Her is in it?
Her is in
Still
it.
haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna see it. I think that might be the reason why I'm hesitant. But first of all, Oprah produced it, so that whole thing I have to
Spielberg
trust.
was in on it.
Yeah, it's just the original was
so good. And then at the end, the little African boy, Mama. Remember that? I love that part.
I cry every time.
Come here, Adam. Right. I
cry every
Color
time.
Purple, you guys, if you haven't, I don't know. Well, I can't say nothing because when I got married, my husband hadn't seen it. It was the first. Well, he hadn't seen a lot of stuff. You should look. I watched Roots with him, right? And it still does it. Roots still serves it up. Because I remember in 1976, I think it was, when it first came out. And you couldn't watch it with white people. Because
you can't watch it now with white people.
Well,
it's a challenging. I had my kids watch part of the newer generation one, and they were like, "Mommy, why are you doing this to me? This is awful." It was like torture.
I know it.
So
my husband would look over at me during it, and I'd be going. He was like, "What?" I was like, "Sorry." So anyway, let's get into it. Listen, I'd like to take myself out for a minute, and it is a minute. I'll be back in 60 seconds. But let you, the guest, start your own kind of vibe. Just
okay, yeah.
Spritz some of that essence of your purpose all over this sacred space. And when I come back in, we'll get started. I have a little clip I want to show when I get back about the biological benefits of meditation. You ever heard?
Ooh.
No. So go ahead. All you take it away. I'll be back in 60.
All right. Yeah. Look, I'm so excited that you guys have joined. Whoever is listening to my voice right now, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here in this now moment. Just allow yourself to be in the now. That's all we have, really. There is, the past is a thought. The future is a thought. So all we actually have is right here and right now. And that is what I practice on a regular. And I'll tell you what, I used to be living in the future or the past all the time. And my kids would come to me and they say, Mommy, do you remember when? And I couldn't remember anything because I was never present. Or I thought I was the best mom in the world because I had this amazing ability to not listen to my kids, and they'd be screaming, Mommy, 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 Mommy. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so good at tuning them right on out. Again, just not being present. And I had this amazing thing where I was addicted to anger. And so when I finally had to be present and I wasn't happy with the world I was living in, mostly because I was hungry, because I would be like the Snickers commercial type person, like hangry, like you're not you when you're hungry. I totally turned into a maniac. And that being that angry person, and finally my husband saying, look, it's me or anger. You're gonna have to choose, which one do you want to be? Do you want to be with me or do you want to be with your anger? And I decided to be with myself. Oh wow, I can't hear you.
That's because I muted myself.
Oh,
Sorry. Rookie mistake. So there it is. Even after 8 years, y'all.
your mouth is moving.
Look, my mouth was hanging open because that used to be my thing. Anger. It would just snatch me up. I carried it around in my pocket. I always tell people this. You see, I underestimated its power, and what I thought was just a little, what is that lint? That piece of lint I always found. The same piece of lint in this pocket. Why is the same piece of lint in everything I wear? It was disguising itself as something innocent, and it was destroying so many things around me.
Oh,
so,
God.
boy, am I interested in hearing more about that. But you mentioned your husband, and I just want to say, you got like one of those TV show families. Look, y'all. Look at how pretty everybody is.
My
3 girls. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
your
those are
poor
my
husband
babies.
in the house with 4 women.
And the dog's a girl too, so that's 5.
Such a beautiful family. I hope you don't mind I showed that.
I don't mind at all. My daughter said, Mama, you need to change the picture on the wall to this new picture because the one that I have up, the baby is like 9 months old. So
yeah,
I know.
She wants that one.
She said, it's time. It's
so
time.
Let's talk about which came first, the chicken or the egg? Did you lose the anger as you brought in the meditation and all the stuff we see around you now? Or did you try to commingle the two? You weren't trying to do this work with that anger thing, that shroud you used to wear.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you every emotions are allowed, right? Like we're allowed to be angry. It's just, how do we react? What do we bring out in the world with the anger? And I think that's where I wasn't making the connection. I wasn't able to figure out how I could accept that I was angry at times before it got to this point, the pot boiling and screaming and yelling. Like literally it was a pot on the stove and it would be boiling and slow. Maybe it's on low. And then all of a sudden it's
and then you just go off.
And I would just go the hell off.
I can't even admit, you look so innocent.
Honey, you ask any of my closest friends, you ask, of course, my blessed husband and my children, and it was like I was a nut. I call her Furia. Her name is Furia. Furia would come out, she would take over, and I would just sit back and watch Furia be a freaking maniac, lose her dang mind. Yeah, she would lose her mind.
Let's spread this out like some dough. We're gonna roll it out on the counter. This thing about anger for a second. Because here's the thing: a lot of people we don't realize that anger is like, you ever heard people describe different kinds of drunks. Oh, he's a funny drunk. He's a lovey drunk. He's a mean drunk. All these shades like on a paint strip. Well, anger is like that. I've seen people that anger. Ooh, when we were little, my niece. Sorry, Ruthie, but I had to put it on. Well, I don't care because she the one wrote the tell-all book when she was in college. And I remember when they called and said, you in Ruthie's book, right? I was like, what? I am. They said, your name is Gary. in there, right? In the book. So anyway, but she's the kind.
He's like, I changed your name so no one would know it's you.
Well, see, in that family, that was the first family, and I was Larry. So she used Gary because it rhymes. So everybody's name rhymed with a name in the book. So we know who it was, right? If it was my Aunt Candy, it was Aunt Sandy. We knew who they anyway.
Right.
So her anger would be boiling, like you said, but she was quiet. You wouldn't know nothing till she hit you in the head with a brush.
Right.
When I was a boy, because I've been taunted. You know, they were my little minions. You do what I say. You know,
That's right.
Because there was 6 of them, 6 little girls, my nieces, and they'd come for the summer, and I would like have all the activities planned and line up. You know,
that's right.
And they line up.
They had the nerve to not do what you said.
Yeah, but the anger, she had it. Then we talk about it now when she comes. She's a professor now. But let's talk about that. Where did you find the root so that you could pull it out?
Yeah. So to do that, I have to tell you. So my husband gives me this ultimatum one night that I had a breakdown, and this happened periodically. It wasn't something I did every day, but a few times a year.
You broke down and cried?
No, I broke down and screamed. This is I wasn't a crier. I the anger masks sadness. So that was my way of being sad, was to be angry. So I had a meltdown and went off on whatever. The spaghetti wasn't on the table, and I'm screaming, and fumes are flying out of I can feel the heat coming out of my ears and the top of my head, and it's just, whoo. And then I finished my screaming, and I figure I'll go upstairs and calm down for a little bit. And I went downstairs to tell him about himself, because there's always somebody else.
And
right?
one more thing before I go.
I said, I'm a little bit calm now, so let me tell you. He said, he sat there very calm. And he said, you're not going to yell at me and my children anymore. He said, if you want to keep yelling at them, you're going to have to do it somewhere else. Ooh. And I said, oh, well, you do this and I stay. He said, that is your choice. And I am not choosing to stay with someone who is yelling and screaming. And I walked away. I said, oh, God, he might be serious. Let me tell you something. I am
sensitive much?
Yeah, I know. I am very, what are they called? Naive. And so I believe anything that you tell me. And so if you tell me
that's called gullible.
There it is, gullible. I couldn't think of the word.
Yeah.
And so, So I said, oh, he might actually leave me. So I went upstairs and I thought about it, and I came downstairs and I said, I will never scream and yell like that again. I gave him my word. I gave myself my word.
How did you know?
I just made a choice.
How did you know?
I just made a choice that I knew that I have choice. God has given all of us choice. Now I can choose to scream and yell, or I can choose not to. So I chose not to do it. Now I said, what I'm going to do is every time I feel like it's bubbling up, I'm going to walk away. I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to go upstairs and be by myself. And what I realized was that I had to go upstairs and be by myself a lot more than I thought I was going to have to. Like the anger was
get up here again.
There.
I'll get in one of these timeouts again. Right.
All the time. Stayed in timeout. Actually, I would go into the closet and I would put on Deepak Chopra's The Path to Healing. And I would listen to that.
We have him this morning. We're going to watch him in just a moment.
That's what I would put on every time. I would just put it on and I would sit in my closet and I would be by myself until I felt like I could function in the world again.
Wow.
So the problem was I wasn't like acknowledging and really sitting around the emotion, like the anger that I was having.
Yeah.
And so it kept coming up over and over and over and over and over again. So finally I said, let me just go ahead and ask this anger what the hell it's here for. And I said, anger, why are you here? What is it that, it came up again? What is it that is bringing you to me? What is it?
I love that
anger
approach.
Said, you take care of everybody else and you ignore me. You do stuff, you please everybody else and you don't take care of me. And so the anger was coming up because I would get very, very, very hungry because I didn't eat all day, taking care of this person, working, doing all
Oh, you
sorts of
mean
things.
literally eat?
Literally,
Okay.
I would not eat food, nourish myself. And so I would get very my anger would come up because
Oh,
I was ignoring myself.
right.
And so emotions are always a way for you to come back and be like, I wonder what's amiss here. I wonder what expectation hasn't been met. I wonder what I thought was going to happen and it didn't, or something happened and I didn't want it to happen. That's why emotions will often come up.
So let me ask you, at this point, you decide, because choice is everything. Choice is everything.
Yeah.
So you decide to put this down
Mm-hmm.
because it's no longer serving you.
Yeah.
And that's what I always say, you guys, don't get it twisted. Anything that does not serve you must go. The longer you let it run rampant through the hallways of your world, the more time you give it to trick you into serving it. And that's bad. So you decided to put that down, but there's a part 2 for effectiveness in there. So now that I got this empty hand, what do I choose to pick up in its place? Take us there.
So I chose to pick up me.
Oh.
I chose to start honoring myself. I chose to, as soon as I chose to eat regularly, I chose to exercise regularly. I chose to take evenings to myself. I need an evening. I want to take this time for myself. I started going to yoga classes because I was I had a lot of shoulder and neck pain because of all the stress and anger and all these things. It had compounded into neck and, oh my gosh, just carrying it up. My shoulders were all the way up to here. And so I started taking care of myself. I started listening to myself. I started honoring myself. And when I started doing that, and this was a process, when I started doing that, everything else fell into place. My marriage was better. My relationship with my children was better. I got to apologize to them for yelling and screaming at them and for showing them that that was okay. Because whatever you mimic to your children, they believe that this behavior is okay. So I was telling them it's okay to deny yourself, to ignore yourself, to not take care of yourself, and then to scream and yell at everybody else because you didn't take care of yourself. This is what I was modeling to them.
So did anybody see any red flags about, when the last time you ate, kind of thing, and you were just ignoring it, or were you just oblivious to it all around?
Well, I could feel it, but so Dr. Lauren, I have a very, very high metabolism. So it's really easy for me to get to the point where I need to eat some food. But even now, if I get to the point where I'm very, very hungry, anger doesn't really show up anymore. It used to, but now it's sort of like you're really hungry.
You know
why don't you take some time and get some food and nourish yourself?
Right. Rational thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, can I share something?
Go ahead. Share, of course.
Well, so you go, and it just stops showing up. That's how it is with anything. That's why I remember the day I got the download about addiction. And they were like, you know why it's always, you could never go to NAAA meetings because they would get up there and say, my name is so-and-so and I'm addicted or whatever. And I never felt right saying that. I'm not going to profess that. I ain't manifesting more of that shit. Right. And if that's what it takes to get up and share, I guess I won't be sharing. So it just wasn't for me. I'm not saying that it's not for other people, but it wasn't for me. And I'll tell you why. Because later on in life, like 30 years later, I found out I was never addicted to drugs as much as I was addicted to abusing the universe's source's gift of invitation. Every time I invited, it left the door open. Come on in, whoever, whatever, it came. And it didn't do anything. It didn't trick me. It didn't lie to me, dupe me. It lived up to its name, its promise.
Right. Yeah.
You see, and the minute I revoked its invitation, it didn't show up anymore. Same thing with this thing with anger. So, but what about this piece? Somebody out there is going, but did she find out where the root was? It was when you were 3 years old and, Carol Ann next door spit on you
Yeah.
and made you mad, and you've been, you know what I'm saying? Where
No,
talk about that piece?
yeah, I did find out where the root was. Because I asked Furia, her name's Furia. This
Yeah.
is
Oh,
this is
yeah.
the dragon that lived inside of me. I asked her, when did I start denying myself? When was this like egg? When was that drop that I started ignoring myself? And she said, all the way back. I said, was it this time? No. Was it this time? No. Keep going. And she said, it was when you were 5 years old. When I was 5 years old, my I went to live with my grandmother in South Carolina, and I lived in Philadelphia. So this is quite a far
Quite
distance.
a
I had,
distance, sure.
yeah. And for many reasons, like all good reasons. My grandfather had passed away. My grandmother was alone. My father said, "Hey, this one is going to kindergarten, and it was half day, so maybe she can come stay with you." So I go stay with my grandmother. I love it, actually. I'm an only child, and at home there are 3 other siblings, and having a good time. I meet all the people at church. We go visit my grandmother's farm that she grew up on, which was a beacon of the community in the early 20th century. They owned this 40 acres of land, my great grandparents, and this farm supplied for everyone in the community, food, barbershop, whatever. If it supplied
Wow.
black, white, whomever, they because in the 20s this was the depression, and they were supplying everything to everyone in the community, this farm that they had. So we would go visit the
Wow.
farm. Well, one Thanksgiving comes around, and my parents come to visit with my family, and I'm so happy. This is like a dream come true, because I thought felt like I was in a dream, like an alternate universe where I was now living with my grandmother. And I thought, one day I'm going to wake up in my bed. Just one day I'm going to wake up there. And then lo and behold, my family comes to visit. And I'm like, my dreams have come true. Maybe I didn't wake up in my bed, but they're here. And so I remember I come home from school one day, and I bust in the house, "Mommy, Daddy." They're gone. They had left.
Yeah.
They had left. They had gone home. And so I cried, and I cried all evening. And I cried, and I remember it was light outside when I started crying, and it was dark outside, and I was still crying. And
Mm.
I felt like at that moment, my ancestors who had, because the family farm that we lived on was also a farm where we had been enslaved, or where our ancestors were
Uh-huh.
enslaved persons. And I felt like the ancestors just kind of came, this is, this is
Ooh.
my story. The
Yeah.
ancestors kind of just came around me and encircled me. And because they could understand the pain that I was going through, the separation that I had gone through
Oh,
with my family.
yes,
They
yes,
could
yes,
relate to
yes.
that. They're like, "Oh gosh, I feel that."
Even in another time, yeah,
In
it's the
another
link
time, they could
between, yes,
feel,
yes,
"Oh,
yes, yes,
wow,
yes,
she's
I
feeling
see
the
it, yeah.
separation."
Mhm.
And then I was angry, like, how could they leave me? So that's where the anger came in. And my grandmother, after hours of me sitting there crying and crying, and she had been watching me the whole time, she just didn't know what to do. I was in another world crying. And she comes to me with a bag of Cheetos. Here's the food. And she says, "Nuria, do you want something to eat?" And I said, "Yes." And that's when I stopped crying. So I was angry, and she brought me food, and I stopped crying.
Hmm.
Do you see the connection?
Yeah.
So that was the seed. So I had to go back, and this is where I bring in the identity-based coaching and retell that story.
Okay.
That
Good segue.
like my family didn't do that to be mean. They did that because they loved me. My father loved his mother and wanted her to have companionship. It was, and everything in that moment has happened for me. That connection with ancestors happened for me.
Yeah.
All of these things that have happened since then, with being able to almost live outside of my family, but still have a family unit, happened for me. So
Okay. Speaking of things happening for you, here we
yeah,
go. So you drop off the anger thing,
yeah,
sanitize it spiritually, got a
yep,
clean hand to pick up something new.
yeah,
So now you pick up the stuff that you are baptized within today, which allows
yeah,
you to ease suffering in the world through these various modalities.
yeah.
So what about this part? How long did it take for the people in your house, your husband and your 3 daughters? How long did it take them to quit looking and believe you really the new,
Yeah.
You know, to be like,
I know.
so
She gonna blow
is
up
this a
at any
setup?
moment. I don't trust her.
Right. We just give it time. She gonna go off again. That kind
Yeah.
you know, right. So talk about that because
Yeah.
oftentimes trust is a hard bridge to rebuild. How'd that work out for you? How
It's
long did
true.
it take?
You know what? You're right because I didn't go off all the time. So I could say I'm never gonna go off again. But I would do it like every 3 or 4 months. So now you've got to wait that long to see, is she gonna blow up again? I know my husband tried to like try me a few times and push me to that, and
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't take the bait.
So was it kind of like, so you know, but da 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 da.
Right.
And
I'm just
back
gonna
up
walk
to see
away.
what you were gonna do.
Yeah, I'm gonna just walk away. I remember one time in particular, we were squabbling about something silly, and I walked down to the basement and I said, "You just want to be happy, don't you?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Me too. Let's just talk about this stuff then. Instead of like trying to fight it, let's just no, when you know that the goal, because sometimes in relationships, the goal is to squabble. The goal is to be frustrated with each other. The goal is to argue, right? That's how you feel like you love each other is when you get to interact in that fiery way. But I realized that neither of us wanted that anymore. And really from that point, we've de-escalated any conversation that has gotten to the point where it could get disrespectful. And my children, this happened over the holiday break. My 20-year-old, she's at North Carolina A&T State University studying economics, just like her mom.
Nice.
She came home and my friend asked her, what have you learned from your mother? And I thought, oh
Here it
Lord,
come.
I
Oh,
don't
shit.
want to hear
Here
this.
it come. Right.
And she said, I've learned that I can always evolve. I can always change.
It's never too late to
It is
change.
never too late. And if I could pass anything on to my children, that would be it. Because I can't tell you to do it this way or do it that way, or you got to be this or you got to be that. But I can tell you that you always have the ability to change. You don't have to stay in that place.
Okay. And I believe that. I certainly do. But let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
So do you ever feel the need or do you ever feel the line? Does this girl here ever say, I wonder how Fury you doing?
Oh, yeah.
Let me go and let me call her and see how she doing. Hey, girl, how you been? So how does that work?
So there's two reasons why Furia will show up, right? One, again, when I'm not taking care of myself. And then I'm like, ooh, Furia's here? Ooh,
So she helps you now.
Yeah, you must be ignoring yourself. So let's go ahead and take a few hours off or, go and meditate or whatever you need to do. Because if Fury is showing up, you're about at your wits' end. The second thing is that, sometimes we just get angry. Sometimes we just get, oh, I'm sorry. My screen just went out.
Are you on a phone?
No, I'm on a computer.
Oh, I saw it froze for just a second, but you're good.
Okay. Let me just go here and no, I got plenty of battery. Everybody has emotions. Everyone gets angry. Everyone has the feeling of frustration or disappointment or sadness or guilt or shame. All of those emotions, everyone has them.
Yes.
Every person on this planet has experienced because the collective is experiencing them. So if everybody is experiencing them, you experience them. That's just how it works. So, when the anger comes up or shame or guilt or something, now I just recognize that it's there. So Furia comes up and she's like, your daughter said something and that was really pissing you off. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. That did.
Here's what I want to know now. Let me see how much time we got. Okay, we're doing well. We're doing well on time. So what about this? You're clearly a woman of color.
Yes.
And married to a man of color.
Yeah.
So extended families have a lot of people of color.
Yes.
So what was it like when you picked up all these new modalities? Reiki, healing.
Yeah.
Chakra talk. Because in traditional Black family, we're like, NURIA into that devil stuff now, right?
Oh, I know. Oh,
she's in a cult. Did you hear what happened to NURIA? She in a cult now. Girl, yep, doing
Yeah.
all that hoodoo. But you know what I'm saying? Because we're so traditional
We are.
in most cases.
Yeah.
Talk about that. How does it feel being an African-American woman
Yeah.
with all of these gifts?
Yeah.
I mean, you ever get any pushback where they be like, "Girl, what's wrong with you?"
Yeah, so I do. And I have one person in particular who loves to follow me on Facebook and say, I don't see God in your posts. I don't see Jesus in your posts. I don't see, and I say, well, God is everywhere. There is no separation from me. And that's what I live on. And I also live on that it's not my job to convince you. If you don't agree with what I'm doing, that's completely fine. Someone out here needs this, because otherwise our creator would not be putting me on this path. And
There
so
you
I
go.
have to trust, and I have to know that when I feel a certain way, when someone does give me pushback, that's something about me. Now I got to go look at myself and say, NURIA, what is it in you that is untrusting?
That's a big piece.
Whew.
Mm.
My father would say that to me, and he says the same Bible verse over and over again.
What?
You know, there's this Bible verse, and he'll quote it and everything, but he say, the war is within you. So if someone says something to you and they say, oh, I'm just going to give, for example, and they say, NURIA, you are green. And I'm mad about this. What? How dare you
Who you
call me
talking to?
green? You ain't talking to me. I ain't
Right.
green. If you're not green, why do you care if
It don't
someone
apply to
calls
you.
you green? So
That's
if
what my
you
birth
are
mother.
upset,
Yes.
the war is in you.
Amen. I just got to say, I love that. My birth mother, she just got cut to the chase. And I remember, and she said to me one day, she goes, boy, if something doesn't make sense to you, leave it alone. That's because it ain't got shit to do with you.
Right.
And I was like, hey, you're
Mhm.
right. You know what I mean? That's why the four agreements, don't take anything personally. Don't
Yep.
make assumptions. Always be impeccable with your word and always do your best.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. How is it? What kind of people do you work with in your teachings? Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What's the vibe? What kind of people work best with you and you work best with them?
Yeah,
Okay,
I was at
somebody
this
said-
conference like a few months ago, and I said, I am really hunger's just gonna keep coming up for me. But this is the story. I said, oh, I'm so
Girl, I
hungry.
hope.
I need to get some lunch. And because I'm just gonna be exhausted if I don't get something to eat. And my coworker was with me, he's a black male, and he said, yeah, because you know how you black women are when you don't eat, y'all get angry. And I said, is this a thing?
Ooh. Did he explain himself?
I just left it.
Mm.
I just left it, and I just pondered on it, and I
I
thought,
wonder why he said that.
exactly. I said, I wonder if, because of all the things that black women have gone through, we've gone through a lot, almost not being allowed to be angry or upset or frustrated or allowed to have all the feeling, or sad, really not allowed to be sad.
No,
right?
I know what it is. Black women, seriously, black women wear so many hats.
Mm-hmm.
They're usually the mother, the father, the teacher, the disciplinarian, the tutor, the girlfriend. Black mothers do it all.
Yeah,
I'm not
therapist.
taking anything
Everybody's
from any
therapist.
other kind of mother, but I'm just saying.
It's true.
Right.
So I thought to myself, I wonder if that's why there's this, because maybe some people get hungry and they are sad.
Well, they don't take care of themselves. I mean, they always do other people first and get to themselves last. I mean, think about how many black women used to fall. It wasn't uncommon when I was growing up, no matter where I was, at my Aunt Candy's house, at my grandma's house, with my mom, fall asleep in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
You got to wake them up and make them go to bed.
Yep.
Because they're so tired.
Yep. But they can't leave
but not
because
all
they
the
want to
time.
make sure everybody's taken care of.
Yeah.
I can't go to bed. I need to make sure that this person's asleep, this person's eating.
Even people that ain't even in the house.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't go to bed till I catch up with Florine. I ain't heard from her. Whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about. So do you coach people? How did people work with you on learning meditation? A big thing just came into my life recently, and I'm so glad for it.
Yeah.
How do
Yeah.
people
So
get aboard for
I
that?
love working with Black women because I think we have this underlying anger thing going on. And I know that I was able to work with this in my life and come out on the other side. And so I adore and love working with my Black women. Again, I went to
Okay.
a school for all Black women, and I've kind of surrounded myself with Black women for my whole life. I also work with mothers, and mothers who have kids who are old enough for you to say you can go out on a Wednesday evening. Your kids are old enough for you to, leave the house and do so. If you're staying in, it's because you're choosing to stay in. You have the ability to go out and do something other than, take care of your kids, because when you take care of yourself, you're better for your children. It's quality time that you have with your children when you're taking care of yourself. So I teach meditation on Mondays, and have just a
Meditation Monday.
Monday meditation at
So is
noon.
that in person? Is that virtual?
It's virtual. It's virtual
Oh.
through an app. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, how do people take advantage of that?
Yeah. It's called the Modern Medi Club. That's what it's called. Modern Medi. And
So that's an app.
It's an app. It's an app that you would download, and then you would get the information there's a bunch of people who teach meditation on this app. I'm just one of them.
So
But
it's like Insight Timer.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I love
Okay.
Insight Timer, by the way. I
Yeah,
use
me
it.
too.
Yeah.
Mm.
So Modern Medi is the app, and I'm meditating on there. I'm probably going to pick up another class soon. It'll be in the evening, maybe like a Wednesday evening or a Thursday evening or something like that. And then I teach what's called a Reiki and Restore class on Wednesday evenings. That's in person in my sunroom, which is where I am right now. I'm in my sunroom. And we go through the different chakras.
I thought you had all daughters.
I do.
Well, how you gonna be in your son's room?
No, son.
I know. I'm
Son.
just
Oh,
I know.
I told you I'm gullible. See,
Right over.
it's just.
Oh my God! I just channeled Michael Jackson. Did you hear that? Well, anyway,
did.
I
came
did
into
it.
the
This
place.
came on out. So the class is in person. How many people?
5.
Nice.
There we go. 5.
What do you love most about this divine work that you do now? This sacred work.
Yeah.
This blessed work. You see what I did there, right?
Yes. I
So
just
those-
feel blessed that I get to. I could never even have imagined 3 years ago that
See?
I would be teaching somebody meditation, because I'm telling you, my thoughts, I'm always thinking about still. So finding the space, I think that's, how people are like, AA. I used to be an alcoholic, and so so now I can teach people how to not because I had my head filled with all these thoughts and couldn't live in the present moment. I'm the best person to teach you how to meditate, because I know what it's like to feel like. My husband would say, I go downstairs and I say, hey, what you thinking about? Because that's what I'm always doing.
Have you relapsed?
All the time. I'm a human, of course.
Okay, see, because I know somebody's like, well, I don't know if I can. What if I slip?
All the
And it's true. Let's
time.
talk about that real quick for a minute before we get out of here. Y'all, it makes no difference. Just already know. When you make those kinds of big monumental changes, journey changes, some people, they act like they're supporting you, but they really waiting in the wings to see if you're going to slip. Remember back in the day when somebody said, "Oh, girl, I got saved last Sunday." And then all you watch, what you mean you went to the club? I thought you said you got saved. You see that skirt? Look at that thing she got on. Call herself saved. So people, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let me ask you, and that's an important part. Let's talk about that real quick.
Okay.
As you are transforming, as you are, busting out of your cocoon into your newness and your fullness, your renewal.
Yeah.
How important is it? How important was it for you to just let it take its own shape, is what I'm saying? Or did you run around and tell everybody, guess what? I'm doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, so many of the modalities that I've learned really just came to me. Like I was doing this identity based coach. That one I said, I think I want to be
What
a
is
life
that,
coach.
by the way?
It's retelling the stories that no longer serve you. So I had this story in my mind that I was an angry person, right? And
Nothing I can do about it. It's just who I
nothing,
am.
I'm just angry. And I had to retell this story because the root of it was my parents had left me with my grandmother and I felt abandoned. But that wasn't the truth. I wasn't
Mm.
abandoned. They loved me, right? That I was
Deception.
telling myself a lie, and that lie was going throughout my life, allowing me to be angry when I didn't take care of myself because I felt like I wasn't taken care of, but I was. I was completely taken care of. I was completely loved. My grandmother loved me very much, and so did my parents. And they knew that this was the best. Like my father said, intuitively, I knew that this was something you needed to go through. And so recognizing that you go through things for a reason and a season, right? Like it's happening for you, not to you. And so when I recognized that, I could rewrite that story and say, hey, my parents loved me and they sent me away to live with my grandparents. I gained so many valuable skills during that time. I gained my life purpose during that time. And now I'm the kind of person that loves to eat, and I don't, I take care of myself. Anyway, that's just a long and short.
No, but well, and thank you for that. Thank you for that. So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Do you ever worry? Do you ever worry? Do you ever go like, ooh, what else is like her? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you, because you know what I'm saying? Some people stop there. I'm not saying look for trouble,
Yeah.
but has this helped you
Yeah.
understand why things show up?
Yeah, I'm always rewriting stories. Like, for example, I told you my dad said, hey, the war is happening within you. So I realized that I was feeling shame about something. And
Yeah.
so I had to rewrite that story of shame. So I'm always rewriting stories that I'm telling myself in my head, because anything that's negative is a story. Anything that isn't, you are a beautiful
That's
and
a good way of
amazing
putting it.
person. You are one with the creator that is within you. You have choice in your life. Everything is happening for you. You have the ability to tap into your gifts.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that is a lie that you are telling yourself. And your brain tells you lies all the time. So you might as well have your brain, if you're going to lie to yourself, let them be amazing lies, right? Let them be really cool lies. Oh,
Ooh.
you are a world traveler, never left the United States. But trick your brain to believe that, and then it's going to find ways for you to be a world traveler.
Speaking of travel,
Yes.
I just got a download about you. So I'm gonna just put it out there because I was like, am I supposed to wait till we're backstage in a few minutes? Because we're almost out of here. No, put it out there. So I'm gonna tell you this. That thing you're planning, that thing that you're tossing around, playing with a little bit in your mind about a retreat.
Yes.
Go on ahead and do that because that's going to be very successful.
Wow.
So go on ahead and do that. That's it just came flying in.
I don't. That is, Dr. Lauren, you got a gift right there, honey.
I know.
That is spot on.
Girl, when they speak, I listen. That's E.F. Hutton for me.
I see it. Like I see the women, the Black women around me. I see us on the beach. I've seen it.
You see, I didn't put it in your backyard. I said, speaking of travel.
Yeah,
I've showed me that too.
Yeah. It's a transformational thing. I'm like so excited about being able to offer this to humans.
Well, just know
because I think Black women are healers, and I think when we get to heal ourselves from whatever traumas and angers and sadness and that we've gone through, then we're healing a lot of other people.
There you go. What are you going to do today in this day? Number one, to find your highest self, and then number two, to use that highest self to ease some form of suffering in this world. We all have that opportunity. Trust me, when you do that, when you seek that, one day when you look to the left as you leave from this form to whatever you take next, I guarantee you're going to look over and you're not going to see a mountain of fond memories looking back. You're going to see a mountain, a universe full of divine memories looking back. Take that with you today and have a divine day. NURIA, thank you so much. Everybody down, scrolling along the bottom is the Facebook link for NURIA, so you can go over and check out all things that she has going. And I will drop that in the comment section immediately.
Thank you. And Instagram too. Go ahead and DM me.
There you go. Drop that in the comments for us when you get out of here. Okay.
I will. Yeah.
On Facebook. Listen, you guys, tomorrow, God willing. Trey Don Inspires is back. He was here a few years ago. Remember that young man? Doing well, coming back to show you what he's doing. I will meet you, God willing, over there on the front porch at 8 a.m. Central, where together we can do it all over again. Another illuminated conversation right here on Bathrobe Moments. And remember, in closing, I say it every day, and I mean it every day. I love you, and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. See you tomorrow. Have the best day ever. NURIA, thank you. Great job.
Great job. And Alice Walker did attend Spelman for 2 years. She just went to another school after that. So I was
there. You go. You were.
I just bringing it full circle here.
There it is. Boom. See y'all tomorrow. Great job. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Show me your soul, baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul, honey, it's way past time. How explicit do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul, and honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind.